Welcome to the channel, I'm Rob, and today we are going to be painting Iron Warriors Infantry. So welcome back. The last video I posted up was an Iron Warriors Leviathan, and it was really well received for my little channel. And today what I'm going to be doing is working on the infantry with you, and we're going to see how the infantry is so much easier than the Leviathan. We don't have to worry about hazard stripes. Of course you can paint those on if you want to, but I always think of the Iron Warriors as a perfect starter force for the Horus Heresy or Warhammer 40k, because you can do it really speedily and in a short amount of time. And you know, when you think about those massive amounts of infantry, we don't need to worry too much about doing lots of hazard stripes. So let's have a look at the paints. So we're going to be using Grim Black, our speed paint that we used last time. We're going to be using the two silvers. We're going to be using Hoplite Gold and Matte Black as well. We're also going to be using High Lord Blue and Warrior Skin. So if you watched the Leviathan video before, these are all paints that I've used previously in those videos, and we're just going to put them in action, put them to use for infantry now. What I didn't show you last time though was some of the mediums and matte varnishes and gloss varnishes that I use. So these are the ones I use from the Army Painter. Really nice. The airbrush medium is really good. The matte varnish is particularly good, I think, just because it goes through the airbrush really nicely, but has a really nice kind of sheen to it. Now we're going to use plate mail and a mixture of Grim Black as well. This just darkens down. The Grim Black added to the silver just darkens it all down to make a super dark metal. You can see how dark it is. But we do want to go a little bit lighter with our metallics than you might feel comfortable with, because we're going to knock it back with battle damage and weathering. So we're going to use Shining Silver now, and we're going to highlight some of the key areas. Top of the shoulder pads. I wasn't sure whether I'd do the shoulder pads silver or black, so just worth making sure you get them done. And then down the front of the legs, and then the side of the legs, I leave that dark silver colour. And then on the top of the backpack and the top of the head, just key areas. It's similar to a Zenithal. So we're going to use the High Lord Blue speed paint now. Beowulf Blue would be absolutely fine. And we're going to hit this in all the areas that we didn't hit with the Shining Silver. So in all the shadowed areas where the sun can't reach or the light can't reach, this is where I'm going to hit it. Now, if you're looking to do a Grey Knight scheme, this is almost like a perfect Grey Knight scheme, but this will certainly not be blue by the time you've finished, and this will certainly be knocked back. But like I said last time in the Leviathan video, we're going to overlap some colours, and that's going to really help to create depth within our our model. So we're going to use Warrior Skin, a nice reddy brown, and then we're going to overlap this on all the places that we hit blue, and this is just going to create some real depth to those shadows, as I say, because we've got overlapping colours. We've got a cool colour which is blue, and then a warmer colour which is this kind of reddy brown, and then it doesn't make either of those colours when it goes down, of course, because you've got those two overlapping colours, but it does create great depth and great shadow and really interesting shadows to our model. I'd almost liken it to kind of like an oily, slick look to it, but it just makes it a bit more interesting, I think. So we hit that in all the places that were blue. We don't want to see any blue at all. And you can see me doing a couple of passes. I would say 2 or 3 passes with this Warrior Skin. Hoplite Gold, the new speed paint, new metallic speed paint. I haven't used it before, so thought I'd give it a go on some trim. It was really nice. It laid down really well. Great over silver in particular. You know, those shadowed areas that we hit with the airbrush are now nice and dark, and then those places where we hit with the Shining Silver are nice and light, of course, but we'll give it an oil wash a little bit later to add some definition as well, but a really nice perfect kind of yellowy gold for Iron Warriors. We're going to move on now and add black onto the shoulder pads. Now I'm not going to highlight this black in any way. I just want to be a completely flat black. It's almost just to break up elements of that silver armor rather than wanting to draw attention to it with a highlight. So and you could see that I was quite messy with the gold because I knew that I was going to paint over those pads black. So we're going to use micro set and micro sol. Micro set has 1 on it, so we use that one first. And don't forget to gloss your model. You can't put transfers successfully over an unglossed model, so don't try. Give it a gloss first. Even if you hand paint those areas that you want to apply a transfer. And then we're just going to put a layer of micro set down. And then we apply a transfer. I really recommend using a hobby knife or a scalpel just to make small adjustments. Use the rivets to line everything up. And then place those transfers down. And as you can see, that hobby knife just straightens everything up. So you can make minuscule, tiny adjustments. Sometimes it's a bit harder with the hairy brush to make those adjustments. And then we're going to use our micro sol. So I just dip it in. I dip a cotton wool bud in the micro sol, and then I just very gently roll it over. I then wait for it to dry, and then I roll it over again. And usually 2 passes is enough. We're going to add a little bit of battle damage now, a little bit of interest, a little bit of negative edge highlighting essentially, and I'm just doing that with the dark brown, oak brown mixed in with a little bit of black, but you could use any kind of dark brown that you wanted to. You could even use a kind of a dark gold as well for this, but we aren't going to bother doing any edge highlighting, so this is a really good way to get different definition on the model on those edges. So we're going to use a burnt umber oil wash now, and you can see how kind of thin that was, and you can see as it goes over how thin it is. But basically we're just using it as an all-over wash, and that's going to act as a filter and change the colour of those metallics completely. Once the oil wash is down, it's going to really give it that dirty look that we associate with the Iron Warriors. It's really important that you leave it to dry though, completely. It's quite warm in the UK at the moment again, so everything dried really quick. But I of course mix those oil paints with white spirit, but you can get water soluble oil paints. With a cotton wool bud dipped in white spirit, clean white spirit, I then wipe away any excess, kind of revealing the panels that we had underneath. But the oil filter has of course still changed the colours, even though we're wiping it off. It's gonna change the colours underneath it, but in all the nooks and crannies and all the rivets, it's obviously left behind the burnt umber oil wash, which is exactly what we want. The idea of grime and dirt being built up, and it's quite a similar colour to, say, like a rust as well. So it's kind of a rusty dirt colour. You can see me putting pure burnt umber oil paint on here. And this is just to create some cool streaking effects. We went through this in more depth when we did the Leviathan. It's a big area, so way easier, the Leviathan, to do oil streaks on than a miniature, but a miniature on the 32mm base. But the Mark 6 does have some nice flat panels to be able to do this effect on, particularly the knee pads. And you can do this on the shoulder pads as well, if you want to. And then I give it a matte spray, using the matte that we saw right at the beginning of this video, and this is what it looks like. We're almost at the finish line, and it's up to you how you want to base it and what you want to do and how you want to do the eye lenses, but essentially this is it. You can just see me getting a piece of fluff from the cotton wool bud off there, but it's up to you completely how you want to base it. I won't tell you how to do that one, but you can see here I've just gone for a fairly generic neutral earth colour, added a couple of green tufts to make it a little bit more interesting, and then just did a kind of a very basic glowy eye effect on the helmet. And that's it. That's all we need to do to achieve Iron Warriors Infantry. We can keep it really, really simple. We don't even need to use hazard stripes on them. I often just use hazard stripes on the bigger models rather than the infantry. But guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.